Have you ever wondered what would happen to your clutter or your stuff during a disaster or a crisis? Maybe it would hold you back. Hey friends, I'm Robyn. I help overwhelmed women declutter all of the excess from their lives so that they can start living them. Now on this channel, I make videos that will save you either time, money, or energy. And in this case, this would definitely save you energy, and especially during a time where you will need it. All right, grab your tea and let's go. So recently I was chatting with one of my declutter coaching clients, Krista, and she mentioned that she had a fear about what would happen to all of her stuff if there was ever a disaster or a crisis. Now this could be a major crisis like a death or an earthquake or even just a life upheaval. Like if you had a baby or something, that can be considered a crisis. It's a huge change in your life. Now I can speak to this because 2 years ago we had a huge flood, and it was fortunate that we had started decluttering, but we really hadn't decluttered enough. Now this flood was pretty extensive. 2 levels of flooring were destroyed, a bathroom, and it all had to be replaced. Now thank God that we didn't have as much in our basement as we had before, because we had been going through our boxes, but we still had to go through them afterwards, and it was mind-blowing. We had tons of things that we didn't need. Toys that the kids had grown out of. It was definitely unnecessary, and I wish we had decluttered more before. Now this disaster was enough to really kick my butt into gear, and it really helped get me the freedom that minimalism, or just decluttering if you don't want to go that far, can give you. But how do you do it? So back to Krista. Now during our Zoom coaching session, we discussed how the clutter was impacting her life and why she had found it so hard to let things go. She had actually had a pretty frugal upbringing, like a lot of us did, and there was not a lot of money.
So I was raised that you just don't throw away stuff. That would be wasteful. That would be like, we're not rich, so why would you just get rid of it? Like, there's always a use for something. You would never ever, like, no matter what, our fountain would find a way to reuse, like whether it be the hummus container, oh now we can put our jewelry in it, or now we can put our pennies in it, or and so it just got to be the point of you can't throw away anything because there'd always be use for it. And if you threw it away, that would be being selfish. That would be not being grateful for what you have. Oh, who do you think you're rich? Like, you gotta reuse that. So yeah. It got to be obsessive.
I had a grandpa who was born in 1907. Now, can you imagine when he was growing up? You would not be just randomly recycling and throwing things away, giving them away. You kept them because you might need them. This is described as the hoarding instinct in Margareta Magnusson's book, The Swedish Death Cleaning. Now, you kept things as they come because you never knew when you would need that random yogurt container. You just never know. And it's kind of like a scarcity mindset. Now, eventually there's just too much stuff. And during a crisis or a disaster, it's a serious impediment. So with Swedish death cleaning, if you die, which is definitely a crisis for your family, you don't want to be leaving clutter behind for them. Now, we had friends who had had a flood and a fire all in the same year. Thankfully, there was no structural damage and no one was injured. But they said that they would end up going into the garage to go through boxes, and they would think like, why did we keep this? It's just an extra strain on top of an already stressful time. Now, not only can your belongings and clutter hem you in, but they can make any crisis worse, which is partially why Krista decided she wanted to tackle her clutter once and for all. Now, we came up with some goals and with a solid plan. And I always send a personalized email that can help people refer back to. And these are the questions that I recommend people ask when they are decluttering. Now, I have a PDF below that I will link, and you can download that. It's free, and it's just all about my decluttering process. Up here in BC, we have forest fires usually every year, and I know California does and Australia does. We are also at risk of an earthquake, as are many other places, and often fires happen afterwards. You have to evacuate. What would you do if you had to evacuate? Would you know what to grab? Could you let the rest go? Could you deal with it during the aftermath? Is there a box of just sort of like special mementos, or is your stuff scattered all over the house? This is what Krista said that she would keep now. Now she is doing amazing and decluttering a lot of stuff, and she is loving the results so far.
Once I got started, then I honestly couldn't stop. It was so freeing. Like, even my boyfriend's like, wow, like he was so impressed. He's like, you're just going for it. And I knew my closet was going to take a few tries, and I didn't want to do the tries obviously back to back. So I would do like a kitchen drawer and then the closet, and then another kitchen cupboard, and then the closet again. I think, like I showed you my before and afters in my closet, like that's probably the one I'm most proud of, even though I still have a ton. That's probably going to take me a long time because my clothes, I love clothes. But doing my pantry, oh my gosh, I'm like, I didn't I had two of so many things because I didn't know I had that. And of course they're both 3/4 used, which is super annoying. So I had like 3/4 of cocoa and then 3/4 of cocoa. I'm like,
now, sometimes people find it hard to get started with decluttering, or they need that little bit of extra help because they're overwhelmed. Now, if that is you, there's a link below to my one-on-one coaching. You can check it out, see if you're interested. I'd love to help you out. Once you start decluttering, you will live in a peaceful home that you can relax and recharge in. And if there's ever a disaster in your home, your belongings will not be holding you back, so you can deal with that disaster or crisis. Now, make sure you're commenting below because it feeds the YouTube crazy algorithm monster. Now, I think you're probably gonna like the Swedish death cleaning video. It's all about how to declutter, how to live with life, and how to enjoy life while you have it. And this is a video YouTube thinks you will like. All right. And I hope you hit subscribe, and I'll see you here next time. Bye.